Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to be transparent about some things. I have been challenged with the podcast since mid April, I'd say. I hit a wall, friends. Part of it was that my producer was stepping down, my editor was stepping down. Part of it was the excitement and the weight of National Black Girl Month. And then another part is I never took a full break between finishing the Strategic Edge magazine episodes that ended in March and then going into National Black Girl Month. And if you are a podcaster, if you've been thinking about podcasting, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. But I kept going because this medium asks you to. It requires that of you, the pace, the output, the next episode, especially when you're a weekly podcast and all of that, including the editing, the writing, the recording, the producing, the post promotion. That's another full-time job. And I've always shared with you all not to operate, but that's the premise of a part of what we do at Felicia Ford and Co. is to help you to build systems and structures and processes so that you can be successful in your work. And this term, being chief everything officer, is something that I highly detest. But lately, I have been living in that role and I do not like it. Okay. When that kind of pressure hits, it doesn't just stay in that one lane. It bleeds over into other parts of the business and into other parts of life because I'm going to say my body and brain are trying to restore normalcy. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I love being a disruptor, but I do not like this kind of disruption. Okay. And the truth is, and I know this, sometimes even with systems and processes, you can't fully work around certain things. But what you can do is ask different questions. What can I delegate? What can I shift? What keeps my brand values intact while still taking care of myself? This is the first time that I've experienced this in Felicia Ford and Co. ever. And I will say though, it's not something that's unfamiliar to me. I've led from this place before, and even back then, I did whatever I could to get out of it. And if you're a part of my email list, then you've seen podcasts that I've been on with others in the last 6 months, and somehow I think the undercurrent of those conversations, I would say somehow they've all at some point led to talking about, well, how do you do it? Right. And one in particular that I was on in December, we ended up talking about burnout. And then most recently on Life Her podcast with Yvette, we were talking about how people perceive you or how you interact with people at different levels of work. And so they're in this industry of change making. And then I know most of you listening are leaders. You're running businesses, you're running programs, you're running teams. You already know what burnout looks like. You know what overfunctioning looks like. And most of you work with people and not just, a transaction to say, okay, here, swipe your card, here's a product, here's a book, here's a pair of scissors, and you're on your way. You use your thing and then you go. Most of you are also providing a service. Most of you are leading with your hearts and your head in creating what you create to serve and to help someone get through something in their life. You know what forced execution feels like. You know what it feels like in your body. You know that tension. You know what it feels like to say to your team, okay, let's go to the boardroom or to the conference room outside of your regular weekly meetings. And I felt like it was important to name clearly without theatrics or without a breakthrough tone to share this with you because it's real and it's happening in real time. And it mirrors conversations we've already had because this is exactly why we're here. This is exactly what Impact Innovators is about. And it would be, I would say, counterintuitive of me to not share this real time, real world thing of what's happening. When I say that's the very thing that I've been sliding into myself of being chief everything officer, it's something that I know that you are very much so aware of. It reminds me of 2011, first starting the business, calling Baker's Crest to present a conversation around, can we partner? Because this is what I'd like to do for leaders, for women leaders in the area. And it reminds me of planning the event, marketing the event, hosting the event, setting up for the event, and then facilitating the event all by myself. And in the beginning, that part is very fun, right? It's exciting, it's exhilarating. You learn a lot about yourself, you learn a lot about your initial audience, your initial clients, your beginnings. And I'll be again very transparent with you and say a part of it is annoying because I've been in this for too long to feel this way. I've been in this for too long to be back here again. And what I've never done was sit in it and be miserable about it and just not come up with something. But I also have never sat as long as I've sat with the potential solutions to it. And so I don't feel this sense of panic, but I definitely feel like it's a conversation that we all should have because I've witnessed it. I still witness it. And it's something that even my current clients are experiencing where they have, and this is why my website says for brands that play big, because for small teams and big work, that's something that we all have in common. And just because I'm on this side of the microphone doesn't mean that I don't understand what it means. Felicia Ford and Co. is not a content brand. We're a leadership and strategic ecosystem. And a part of disruptive leadership is also saying this part isn't working the way that I want it to, but I'm still here. I'm still building. I'm still shifting. If you ever downloaded my next level playbook, I talked a lot about agility. And this is what being agile means. So that's another great benefit of having a small team. But shifting, being agile, and then owning it, that makes a very unshakable, undeniable truth for brand presence. And it also does something to your team because it really cultivates this experience and this culture of creativity and innovative approaches. I will say it can also get to be too much if there's too frequent changes and adjustments, but we're right in this sweet spot right now. And so today it's conversion season. It's summer, but it's also conversion season. And I'm naming it that because some of the conversations that have been circulating in different spaces, why people know you but still don't buy. This is the impact strategies for changemaker brands. Let's get into it. You've been showing up. People know your name, they know your brand, they trust your work, and some may approach you to consider working with you and might say, oh, I'll circle back, or I'll be in touch, or send me the link, or I'll be right there, or I'll be at the event. But then the follow through isn't there. So the question becomes, what's keeping people from moving? In the last episode, I broke down the concept of a power move and why it has nothing to do with hustle or performance, why it has nothing to do with metrics, but more so your mindset and your decision making. And so today we're shifting from that inner work to the structural work because even when your presence is strong, your positioning is clear, if people aren't reacting, responding, resonating, AKA buying, booking, showing up for your work, with your work, then there's something deeper to address. This is conversion season. And this is a series that I'm doing with you this summer for you nonprofit leaders, for founders of businesses, for management, C suite professionals in the change making space who aren't new to the work, but may be tired of things stalling right at the finish line. We're unpacking why awareness hasn't translated into action and what to do when people respect your work, but still may hesitate to say yes. If people who know you, know your brand, are familiar with your brand, aren't following through, it doesn't always mean that something's wrong with the service that you're providing or the product that you're providing, or if you're hybrid and you have an online space, your offer. It simply may mean that they're unclear about how to move forward. There is or was a man at a local university to me. I didn't really get to know him well, but we had one conversation. And in that one conversation, I had to dig through my notebook to find this quote from 2023, but he said, if you rely solely on customers from the local community, that means that same dollar gets circulated repeatedly within the same community. With events such as inflation, that dollar loses value every time it's circulated, which means less and less can be purchased or bought. Every time the community buys something from outside, there is less money to circulate within the community. To prosper a community or business, you must think of ways to bring in dollars from outside of the local community. We only had a conversation once. We've had some email exchanges, and I needed that quote. I needed to share it with you because you as a business have to explore how else can you bring in additional dollars. It's not just for nonprofits, but let's talk about it. If people don't know how to move forward with you and your business and what you're offering, or in your nonprofit, and they don't know how, my intern, I assigned her a nonprofit audit this week. And one of the nonprofits that she looked at, I see this and I see this and I see this, and they're doing this and they're advocating for this. But I had to dig really deep to see if they were asking or welcoming donations. There was no place on their website that said donate now or we need your money or some version of that. And I was like, great observation. I love that that's what you observe, because that is exactly what I'm talking through and walking through with some of my clients right now. And it's not to say this is not a critique, this is an analysis. So if we were to think about a competitor analysis or a SWOT analysis, even, let's look at that part of the SWOT analysis, which would be what are our weaknesses? What are our opportunities? What are our threats? And that's where we are with this. And these are three patterns that I see with leaders like you, people who are doing real work in their communities, in their organizations, but getting stuck in the same cycle. And as I said, I've been here before. I recognize it. I know what to do. And now I'm sharing that with you. So you know what to do, but not how to start. You built a brand, you have events. You might feel like I'm not the event type of person. You receive referrals. They know where your referral form is on your website, or they know that you are accepting fax referrals. I don't know if people still do that, or they may email you a referral. They know where to ask for help. But if they are not aware of your brand and they just came across it, or someone mentioned it in a networking event, and then people go to your website, or they go to your, might look for you on social media, sometimes, more often than not, people are not going to get on the phone first, right? They're going to look you up. So if they are landing on your page or they hear you speak, what's the first step? Is there a clear first step? This is what I want to tell you, my friends. People who want to buy from you are waiting for you to spell it out. So this is what you do. You choose a point of entry. Is it a conversation? Is it a paid consultation? Is it a community event? Whatever it is, you want to make it obvious. You don't have to be clever about it, just clear about it. For example, when you head over, and I'm going to go there myself right now, to FeliciaFordandCo.com or media.FeliciaFordandCo.com, the very first option that you have for clicking on a link, if you're on the top menu, it's Get Strategic Edge. That gets you the magazine. Or if you click on Let's Make Moves, it's taking you directly to explaining how to work with us. And then there's an application, apply to work with us. And if you click it, it takes you directly to the application. But if you decided you wanted to, spend a little bit more time on the website, then you can click through some things. But I have buttons, we call them CTAs, calls to action, everywhere on the site to guide you through what I'd like for you to guide yourself through when you visit the site. So you want to make things clear. If someone emails me, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say, thank you, so excited. I have lots of questions, but I'm not going to ask all of them. I'm just going to start with that one thing. If you're interested in working with us, I want to invite you to submit the form because that'll prepare me for our phone call or Zoom call that we'll have, right? So let's look at number 2, the second pattern that I see. You're respected, but not positioned. I would say people who've been doing change-making work for however many years, a ton of people have retired since 2020. Between 2020 and 2025, a ton of people are no longer in the same seats. So if you had someone down at the office in whatever city you're in, you've had this long-standing relationship with, they're retired or on their way out, it's time to get to know the new people. Okay? There's a difference between being known for your work and being known for how people can work with you. Okay? You've taught, you've served, you've contributed, but people may still be unclear on what you do now and how you do what you do. So this is what you want to do. Update your language. Remind people where you are. I'm currently working, I'm going to use myself for an example. I'm currently working with small teams on preparing for Q4, and they're getting ready because I've urged them to. We're preparing not for summer because summer's here. We're preparing for October, November, December, because that is what you should be doing right now. That's what we're all doing. Or right now, I'm focusing on solo entrepreneurs. I'm not, but I'm just giving you examples. You want to anchor what you're doing to the present. And I would say pattern number 3, you're giving context, but not direction. So you may have testimonials on your site. If you don't, you want them there. Even if you're not an online business, all of my business clients right now, except for one, has an actual office. They're embedded in a community. I teach social media strategies at times because of what I said in the beginning of this conversation regarding the dollar. The dollar has circulated, and it's time to invite more dollars into your ecosystem. When it's time to circulate new dollars, it's time to get new attention. It's time to get new people in your atmosphere. You want to be able to invite new people in. People need a bridge between your passion and their next step. They need a bridge between you posting about things on LinkedIn. I'm excited to announce that I did this. I'm excited to announce that I received this. Or on other platforms, this is what I'm offering and this is what you need. And okay, great, we got that. But what about the conversation that says, here's how I can help you. Here's what I was able to do with a client this week. Here is what this looks like in real time. All right. So, what I want you to get out of this pattern number 3 that I'm seeing, you don't want to just tell people what you believe, Tell them what they're going to walk away with. Will they walk away with a plan? Will they walk away with a partnership? Are they going to walk away with done for you? Say it. Be clear about it. When you work with Felicia Ford and Co., you're going to walk away with a marketing plan, a sales plan, or an operations plan. That's what you get through any of our accelerator experiences. If you are a Momentum Lab member, you're walking away with the exact answer to the exact question that you've asked for that week. And that's usually, again, related to your marketing, sales, or operation strategy. All right. If this conversation resonates with you, it's time to tighten the path. You don't need to post more, right? You don't need to post more things. You just need to make it easier for people to access your services and to understand what your services are. What this looks like in the in-person space. There are a few organizations I can think of that host a number of events. They are great at collaborating, but you want to also weave in your actual calls. Don't be afraid to ask for the sale. Don't be afraid to ask for the donation. Don't be afraid to ask for the partnership or the sponsorship. Most people who are operating at a level that I'm going to assume most of you are going to respect that you've asked for it. Let's move forward. How do we want to move forward? More clarity. If you're not sure where to begin, I would say start with wherever you're sending people. Are you sending people to your homepage? Are you sending people to an answering service? Are you sending people to call your office and listen to an automated message? Wherever you're sending them, make sure it's built for decisions, because if it's not built for a decision, it's built for a delay. And that is going to delay them converting from someone who was interested in what you're doing to someone being an actual client or customer of yours. So people aren't just watching, but they're booking, they're paying, they're partnering. This is conversion season. I'll see you next time. Hey, Changemaker, real quick before you go, if today's episode helped you in some way, the best way to thank me is to head over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the channel, and leave a review. I'd also love to connect with you over on social. You can find me at Friends Call Me Fee. Until next time, keep changing the game.